In this module, we will learn how to create a premise. Once your location has been activated, you have the option to open your location for modifications if you are required to make any changes. You can then click on Create a Premise within the Action menu. The toggle option allows the user to determine if the premise created will be a head premise or not. Keep in mind that the difference between a head premise and a premise is that the head premise is the entity you are leasing or managing, which can be either occupied or leased. You can also enter multiple premises which are linked and routed to the same location. These can be either occupied, vacant, or subleased. Once selected, click Next. Fill out all mandatory information appearing in the pop-up, such as file number, premise name, occupancies, usage, legal entity, cost center, and profit center. You must also select your groups. Since they have been added in the location part, you now only have the option to reselect those you have added. You'll notice that the dates are not mandatory fields. Since these dates are related to your premise, it is not required to enter any. For the purpose of our example, we will enter an opening date and a closing date. If you have any notes to enter, you may do so here by clicking the plus button. Remember to click the checkmark Save button if you have added any notes. Notes can always be deleted or modified by clicking on the three dots under the Action menu. Once completed, you can click Save. You will be redirected to the premise page. On this page, you will see all the details pertaining to your premise. Once again, you will have a summary of your premise at the top and the Action menu right next to it. If you need to modify anything, you can do so within the Identification tab in the middle of the page. Let's move forward to the Areas tab. Here, you can add your premise area. Click on the plus button and fill out the mandatory fields such as area type, source, and unit. Then, under Area History, you can add your premise area and associate the dates to it. The dates in this case are once again not mandatory. If applicable, you can add your floor, suite, and a note. You can also add notes at the bottom of the page. And once you're done, you can click Save. Once all the information has been entered here, click the Save button at the bottom. The Sales tab is related to the percentage rent applicable for retail clients. Please bear in mind, these are sales pertaining to your premise. These can be linked to percentage-based rent rules from the lease contract. However, the percentage-based rent rules are calculated in the lease section and will be detailed in a separate video. All sales pertaining to your percentage rent must be entered here. You can either upload a file and import data into the system, or manually enter your sales. To manually enter a sale, click on the plus button. A pop-up window will appear. You will be asked to select the mandatory information such as external category, external subcategory, and the total number of sales. You can then go ahead and select your dates. Keep in mind that the categories must be entered in the admin panel prior to selecting them here. We will also define in greater detail the meaning between each type of category, as well as how they link to each other in a separate video. Once you've entered your sales figure, you can add a note or document and click on Save. Your newly entered sale will now appear in the Sales tab. The For Sale or For Lease tab allows the user to add any information pertaining to the area that is for sale or for lease. Whether you are selling or leasing a part of your premise, the information should always be added in this tab. To do so, click on the plus button. It is important to indicate the type of sale and the status. You can add notes and documentation supporting this sale. Once all the information has been added, you can go ahead and click Save. The Pictures tab allows you to add any pictures pertaining to your premise, such as a picture of your suite or floor, for example. To do so, click on the plus button and upload your file. You can add a description if you wish to do so, and then click Save. Allows the user to add any documents pertaining to the premise only. It is important to note that the lease must not be uploaded in this section. Only documents relating to the premise can be uploaded here. Finally, the user-defined fields can be added here. All user-defined fields previously added within the admin panel will appear here. You can add the information required, such as business hours, opening date, or any other values. Once you have added it, simply click on Save. Once all your information has been added, you can go ahead and activate your premise. When your premise has been created, you can view and modify it by clicking Open for Modifications. You can also create a new lease or a sublease from the Action menu. To quickly navigate from one overview to another, in each folder, Nakisa Real Estate offers the users the opportunity to use a tree view. The latter allows the users to quickly browse the pages of the premises and leases associated with the location without using the menu to the left of the page. You can click on the appropriate title on the navigation tree to go forward or backwards in Nakisa Real Estate Management Solution. To access the navigation tree, simply click on the icon to the right of the screen to expand or hide the said menu. We have learned how to create and activate a premise.